they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the
Another Queen Amadaya production.
haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen AmadayaShakur show. I'm your host, Queen AmadayaShakur, and this is your Sunday Vitamins. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so I had a little lengthy introduction. because I was waiting for some more of you all to get in here. I know they're a little slow with sending out the notifications, okay? So before we get started with the receipts, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribe oils for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so with that all being said, everyone hit that like button. Thank you in advance. And let's get ready to get into it. Okay, let's get ready to get into it now. Hello, Nessa G, Most Hated Bronze Flat Power God, Buckhorse DC, Anita Harrell is in the house. I see you, Deronda. All right, shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Antoinette, and shout out to my moderators putting in work, okay? And so let's go ahead and get this party started. I see you, my aunt Egypt. Lisa's Real Spill is here, Southwest Houston, Texas. All right, Wavy, though, is in the house. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about it because y'all, Bill Gates said y'all not going to have any jobs, okay, come 2030. All right, and that's just 5 years away from here. But Bill Gates says that AI is going to take almost all jobs, okay, and he's been warning workers. All right, so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, this is all nefarious. Bill Gates predicts only 3 jobs will survive the AI takeover, and here's why. Now, I want you all to pay attention because Bill Gates always is trying to give warnings for stuff. Is he some sort of oracle? How does he seem to know all these things in advance? I mean, like the pandemic and all of that, okay? And so let's talk about it because the rise of artificial intelligence is no longer a futuristic fantasy. It's happening right here and now, and it's reshaping industries at an unprecedented pace. Now, while some see AI as a revolutionary tool, others fear the impending doom of mass job displacement. And according to tech billionaire Bill Gates, well, those fears might not be entirely unfounded. Please pay attention. Gates has warned that AI will render many jobs obsolete in the coming years, okay, automating roles across multiple industries. But amid the uncertainty, he has identified 3 professions that will likely survive the AI revolution, at least for now. And so the 3 jobs that AI can't replace as of yet, let's talk about it. The number one that Bill Gates said that they can't replace with AI is coders. Okay, and that would be the architects of AI. AI can't create itself, is what he's saying. Now, ironically, the people building AI systems are the ones most likely to keep their jobs. While AI has made significant strides in generating codes, it still lacks the precision and problem-solving skills needed to create complex software. Gates believes human programs or programmers will remain essential for debugging, refining, and advancing AI itself. Well, here's the thing. What are they going to do about the AI that gets tired and bored and angry from doing the same task over and over? Okay, like that one that committed self-deletion a couple of years ago. Do you all remember that? One's in the chat if you remember. Remember how the AI bots just deprogrammed itself? Does anybody remember that other than me? Does anybody remember that? One's in the chat if you all remember that. That thing took itself out. Okay, it took itself out. And then let's not forget, so you all remember, okay, so there's that. And then let's not forget, you know, how Elon Musk was talking about AI destroying humanity. Okay, like getting rid of humans. And I saw an episode years ago of The Twilight Zone, okay, where they had this segment where there was these AI bots Gates, okay? And this is the newer version of the Twilight Zone from like in the 2000s, early 2000s, I believe. Anyway, long story short, they had AI bots and they thought they were humans. They thought they were here first and thought that the humans were the ones that came after them and shouldn't be here. So there was a war that ensued. And guess what? The AI won. Okay, please pay attention. And don't you think that's how it would likely turn out in reality? Okay, so anyway, the only ones that'll have their jobs are the people making the AI, according to Bill Gates. That's one of the jobs. Simply put, AI needs people to build and manage AI, making coders a rare breed of workers whose skills will only become more valuable. So that's what y'all better be going to college for those youngsters out here. It looks like you might want to go to school to learn how to become an AI, okay, designer, programmer, what have you. Now, the next one is energy experts, okay, the guardians of power. The energy sector is too vast and intricate for AI to manage alone. Whether dealing with oil, nuclear power, or renewables, industry experts are required to navigate regulatory landscapes, strategize sustainable solutions, and handle the unpredictable nature of global energy demands. Now, Gates argues that while AI can assist in analysis and efficiency, human expertise is irreplaceable in decision-making and crisis management. For now, energy professionals remain indispensable. And the third is biologists, the explorers of life. Biologists, particularly in medical research and scientific discovery, rely on creativity, intuition, and critical thinking, qualities AI still struggles to replicate. Now, while AI can analyze massive data sets and aid in diagnosing diseases, it lacks the ability to formulate groundbreaking hypotheses or make intuitive leaps in research. Gates predicts that biologists will continue to play a vital role in advancing medicine and understanding life's complexities, with AI serving as a powerful tool rather than a replacement. So here's a question. He's talking about biologists. Bill Gates believes only coders, energy specialists, and biologists will survive AI's hostile takeover. Meanwhile, if I'm not mistaken, Jensen recently said coders are likely to not have jobs. My takeaway is nobody knows. Now, this is what someone posted. Uncle Tesla, that's what he calls himself. But what I find interesting is he's not saying anything about surgeons and other doctors. So are they saying that AI is going to be performing those type of medical procedures as well? Because here's the problem with that. Even if AI could perform those procedures, who the hell is going to trust them to do so? Who is going to trust them to do so? One's in the chat, if you would be willing to have a surgical procedure on a very serious organ, such as maybe the heart, okay, a transplant like your liver or kidney, would you trust AI to do that? Because I wouldn't. Okay, I absolutely wouldn't. For one, I know that they can program AI to do things that they want it to do, and they can also program it to be racist. We know that because algorithms have been exposed as specifically targeting people who look like me. Okay, let's not forget that some of these people who are the programmers and coders are those types of people, and they could easily program the AI to think and act like them. Okay, so who would be willing to risk it? Because I wouldn't. You want to trust AI to complete your brain surgery, to remove a brain tumor, to treat you for cancer? I'm sorry, make that make sense. These are just all figments of Bill Gates's imagination as far as I'm concerned. Now, it goes on to say, a future reshaped by AI. Gates acknowledges that his predictions may not be foolproof, and AI's influence on the job market will likely evolve in ways that we can't yet foresee. Just as the Industrial Revolution and the internet transformed the workforce, AI will redefine how we work and what skills remain valuable. For now, those in coding, energy, and biology can breathe a little easier. But for the rest, well, they say it might be time to upscale, innovate, or, as Bill Gates suggests, prepare for a future where AI is not just an assistant, but a competitor. Despite his optimism about AI's potential, Bill Gates has issued a stark warning. In just a decade, artificial intelligence could advance to a point where human expertise is no longer essential for most tasks. Speaking on The Tonight Show, Gates emphasized that AI will revolutionize fields like medicine and education, making expert level knowledge freely available. His concerns echo those of Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleyman, who predicts AI will ultimately replace rather than augment human labor. What do y'all think about that? See, I want you all to really think about how wicked this is, how nefarious this is, because AI taking over all these jobs is only going to benefit the rich and wealthy, okay, and the people who are creating the AI. Okay, so everybody's supposed to walk around broke. Okay, how are people supposed to pay their bills? I really want y'all to be thinking about this. If AI has all the damn jobs, how are people going to work and pay their bills? Anyone venture to guess? So are we supposed to just sit here and struggle? Are we all just supposed to be broke and just not have jobs? Just walk around soliciting? What are we supposed to do? Brad Cook said they lost their minds. Oh, Lord. Yeah, they clearly have. At the end of the day, this is all nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Absolutely nefarious. Now, there's a clip of him talking about this on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not going to play it because of copyright reasons. But while Bill Gates remains hopeful about AI's role in solving global challenges, he acknowledges the risk of misinformation, bias, and deep fakes. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. He acknowledges the risk of what? Let's say that again, shall we? Misinformation, bias, and deep fakes. Okay, so bias, is that racism? Well, of course it is. Okay, that's what you'll have to deal with. His reflections on AI's rapid evolution from OpenAI's breakthrough is acing an AP biology exam to its unforeseen acceleration, highlight both the promise and peril of this technological shift. As AI marches toward dominance, Gates urges young innovators to embrace its potential, warning that the future of human labor remains uncertain in an increasingly automated world. While AI is reshaping industries, many experts believe that human ingenuity remains irreplaceable in unexpected ways. Professions rooted in creativity, emotional intelligence, and ethical reasoning, such as therapists, artists, and legal experts, still require the nuanced understanding that AI struggles to replicate. Moreover, jobs emphasizing human connection, like caregiving and education, will likely persist, evolving alongside technology rather than being replaced by it. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Bill Gates is warning us that most jobs will be gone due to AI. You know, and when you think about it, this is one of the reasons, or shall I say, this is like the main reason. If you remember the El Paso shooter in his manifesto, that's one of the things that he talked about, AI taking over. And in the future, people like him not having a job because he wasn't college educated, just basically had a high school diploma, if that. And he was concerned and angry about AI taking over jobs. So here's what I want you all to think about. There's a group of people that get upset when things don't go their way. Some of those people attacked the Capitol January the 6th. You see, those sorts of people who want things to go their way and who feel entitled for things to go their way sometimes, when things like this happen, if AI was to come along and snatch their jobs, what do you think those people are going to do? How do you think those people are going to react? The same people that caused the whole insurrection, a riot at the Capitol because the election didn't go the way they wanted. What do you think they're going to do if they start losing their jobs because of AI? Now, we already saw what the El Paso shooter did because he knew it was coming down the pike. Now that it's getting closer at hand, and Bill Gates is warning people about it, so people are going to be expecting it. So then when it starts happening, what do you think people are going to do? I'm just saying there may be a whole lot more people acting like the El Paso shooter. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, enough about Bill Gates. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Trump, because Trump is just a liar who lies. Don't you all know Trump was sitting here trying to say, not trying, he actually said it, that Pete Hegseth didn't have anything to do with the chat leak. But he was the main one putting the confidential information in the chat. Okay? He was the main one doing it. And, you know, some people are saying, who the hell's running the White House? What's really going on? I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me cue this real quick. Here we go. Here we go. Now, this is someone else's video who had this clip. And so I am going to put an overlay on here. TC Dan says, a theory I have is just like the pandemic, the government will simply pay us to stay home like UBI. AI and robots are going to take over most jobs. They're not going to pay you to stay home. When AI takes over people's jobs, they're not going to pay the people anything. That's why they're having AI. So they don't have to pay people. You think, Dan, that when AI starts taking over and people start losing jobs, the government's going to pay us to sit at home? That's what they're not going to do. The government wants people to be out here struggling and broke and poor. They want us to live like a slave society. Okay? That's what they're going to do. They're not going to pay us anything. And what are they going to pay us? They're already talking about getting rid of Social Security, even though they keep lying, saying that's not what they're trying to do. They literally called it a Ponzi scheme. They're not going to pay anybody anything, beloved. At least I don't think so. I'd be surprised if they do, but I don't think that's part of the plan. The agenda is to have everybody broken, struggling, okay, and dependent on the government for whatever we can get, which will probably be foods passed out, okay, monthly, full of GMOs. Okay, that's just what I'm thinking. Thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Sierra said they won't need any Social Security because we will have a universe income. Okay, it's going to be a hot mess. I'll say that much. Okay, so now let's talk about it. I'm going to try to cue this video to the part where Trump sitting up here telling all these lies and talking crazy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Now, and shout out to David Darkman, because like I said, I'm using his clip. We'll put an overlay on here. Here we go.
To be that Signal app. Trump actually suggesting maybe it's the app that's defective, and that's the reason for all of this chaos, if you can imagine a sillier claim.
Should Secretary Hegseth consider his position over the Signal?
Hegseth is doing a great job. He had nothing to do with this. Hegseth. How do you bring Hegseth into it? He had nothing to do. Look, it's all a witch hunt. Here we are talking about some of the greatest business deals ever made. The greatest companies in the world are moving into the United States. And you want to ask about whether or not Signal works. I don't know that Signal works. I think Signal could be defective, to be honest with you. And I think that's what we have to, because you use Signal and we use Signal and everybody uses Signal, but it could be a defective platform. And we're going to have to find that out.
Trump doesn't even know what Signal is. He just a couple days ago, he hadn't even heard of Signal. And he says Hegseth had nothing to do with it. Hegseth leaked detailed American military plans in a Signal chat. It included weapon systems. It included the exact timing down to the minute of strikes that were planned on the Houthis. And Trump's response is basically, he's doing great. The app must be defective. That's not a defense. Sounds almost like you would see in an SNL skit making fun of this situation if the skit were written by someone with a concussion. The only thing Trump cares about really are tariffs, TV, and golf. And he seems so checked out of his job that he doesn't even seem to know or acknowledge that Pete Hegseth needlessly disclosed the weapons packages and the timing of attacks on the Houthis.
And let us not forget or skip over the fact that Hegseth also took his wife to meetings with foreign officials where they were discussing very sensitive information that only people with a high level security clearance were supposed to be there to attend. Now, the wives of government officials will sometimes have a lower level security clearance, but they don't even know if his wife has that, even has that. Point blank and period, she wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, none of the other people that showed up to the meeting brought their wives. Okay, now you can bring one person with you, but that should be someone who has business there with the foreign officials and also someone who has top level security clearance. Okay, please pay attention, honey. And Trump's sitting here trying to defend this idiot. That's because Trump's an idiot too.
But there's a worse part of this that really leads us to say, who is in charge And what is Donald Trump doing? 4 American troops died in Lithuania. News of it was reported hours before this late afternoon, early evening event with Donald Trump. And when Trump is asked about it, he says, I haven't heard a thing about it.
But it could be a defective platform, and we're going to have to find that out.
Have you been briefed about soldiers in Lithuania?
Say it?
Have you been briefed about the soldiers in Lithuania who are missing?
No, I haven't.
He claims he hasn't been briefed about it. Doesn't seem very worried about it either. Hours after the lives of troops were lost, Trump sits there and he goes, haven't heard a thing about it. This is the guy who knows within a minute if some D-list actor said something mean about him on Twitter. But 4 American service members die overseas, and he's wandering around like someone unplugged his brain. And maybe the even bigger problem is that no one told him. And this really gets us to, the allegation. I have this weird thing going on with my hair here, and it's extraordinarily distracting. I just fixed it. The show will be much better now that I address that. I think back to the claims they made about Biden. Someone else is really in charge. Biden doesn't know what's going on, and yet Biden was never unaware hours after major events of relevance like service members dying. Biden never said, nobody's told me about it. And the fact that let's assume Trump's telling the truth, right? Because sometimes Trump goes, oh, this is the first time hearing about it because he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't think that's the case. Trump genuinely seems to have no idea. Look, does this look like the face of a guy who has an idea?
Nope.
I think that the bigger issue, arguably, is that the White House is sort of in a vicious cycle of doom where people aren't telling Trump things because they know he'll either explode or forget what they said. So they don't tell him about it. So Trump's not informed, which of course only perpetuates that he is increasingly just a figurehead. Understand the sequence. Trump didn't know about the signal leaks. He didn't know about the soldiers dying in Lithuania. He blames the messaging app for a breach of classified information or information that is supposed to be classified. And meanwhile, he has a cabinet that's either too afraid or too checked out to keep him informed. And it's a national security disaster masquerading as a presidency. Don't forget, by the way, when 4 Americans died in Benghazi, Republicans held 10 investigations, a full select committee, and demanded hours and hours of Hillary Clinton's testimony. Years of hearings. We have 4 troops dead, military secrets, weapon system usage and timing are leaking, and Trump has no idea about most of it and then is blaming Signal, sort of like your uncle is convinced that he did something on Facebook and just something mysterious happened and you don't know why, when of course it's user error. So again, the question isn't what happened, it's who is even in charge here, because Trump doesn't
know what's going on. Trump does not know what's going on. Now, why isn't anybody reporting anything to him? Or is he lying? Like he said, I agree that Trump just doesn't know what the hell's going on. Now, remember the other day when the signal leak happened, Trump said, oh, this is my first time hearing about it. And I'm like, Trump, you're the first person they're supposed to tell this information to. But if they're not telling him things, it's for a reason. Okay, now he talked about Biden's cognitive skills. What's going on with his? Now I have questions. Okay, Dana says, Queen, thanks to you, thanks to your lifelines, I might be broke, but I'll have food. Well, thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Thanks for your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. And for you to be broke and gifting such a generous donation to the channel, I really appreciate you, beloved. Okay, thank you so much. Peace, love, and blessings. Y'all, I think Trump has lost his entire mind. Edward says, I don't just listen to some random guys on YouTube without receipts. Okay, Edward. Well, Edward, we know you like Trump, beloved. We know you like Trump, but the fact of the matter is, what receipts did he need? We just heard Trump say all that stuff out of his own mouth. He's not saying anything that Trump didn't say himself, beloved. Trump said he didn't know about the 4 soldiers dying. He hadn't heard about it. Trump said days ago that he didn't know about the chat leak. Oh, this is my first time hearing about it. Okay. And as far as everything else he said about Trump, Trump has already said or done these things. So why does he need receipts? Trump is the receipts. He's the invoices. Okay. This is all stuff that he did himself. Nobody needs to make up anything. Now let's talk about Elon Musk, because they say that the DOGE team finally breaks their silence. And I want to hear what they have to say. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. And not to mention, they're talking about Elon supposed to be stepping down from DOGE. I have several questions. He also threw a tantrum and got mad with Tim Walz too, by the way. And we're going to get into that in a minute.
Fraud it is that the computer systems don't talk to each other. So if the computer systems don't talk to each other, then you can exploit that gap. And fraudsters exploit that gap, take advantage. If, for example, there were over $300 million of small business administration loans that has been given out to people under the age of 11.
Well, actually, to add to it, it's 300 million under the age of 11 and over 300 million to over the age of 120.
Definitely
Small business loans, correct?
Yes. The oldest American is 114.
Now here is where we need to see receipts, okay? Because they're making claims that they haven't substantiated, okay? They haven't shown us the proof. This is a case where we need to see some receipts, okay? Someone said that Trump's acting ridiculous. You know, we can't tell who's running things, who's in charge, and Trump's acting like he doesn't know anything or he's not been told certain things. We don't need receipts for that. The proof's in the pudding. But right here, yeah, I want to see receipts for all this that Elon's talking about, for these claims he's making.
So it's safe to say if their age is 115 or above, they're fake. Or they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And we should not be giving out loans to babies. So the youngest recipient of a small business administration loan is a 9-month-old, which is a very, very precocious baby we're talking about here. So obviously it was just fraudulent. And they do terrible things. They actually will see that a kid's been born. They will steal that kid's social security number and then take out a loan and leave that kid with a bad credit rating. There was literally a baby. The terrible things are being done is what we're saying. And we're stopping these terrible things.
And you can stop it? I mean,
well, we are stopping it.
The reason this is happening is because the two systems are not talking to each other.
Yes.
Right. And so you don't know at the Small Business Administration that you're giving a loan to a 9-month-old, which happened in one case, because you're not cross-referencing that with the Social Security Administration data that has birth dates. So that very, very simple fix eliminates tremendous fraud. And that there are multiple systems across the government where the systems are not speaking with one another. And if you just solve that simple problem, you would solve a huge amount of fraud.
Are you so one of the ways that, like one of the key tricks that the fraudsters pull is that they will use the fact that someone is marked as live and as sort of just that social security number is marked as live in Social Security, and then get disability and unemployment insurance for a dead person. Because the databases don't talk to each other, all they got was from Social Security is like, is this person alive? Yes, they're not alive. It's falsely marked. Person is falsely marked as alive in Social Security, but they didn't. But that person, a fraudster can now get unemployment and disability from a dead person.
Okay, he said this is happening all the time. Well, I have questions. I mean, listen, if it's happening all the time and they have so much evidence of this happening, a 9-month-old baby and all of this getting loans for businesses, it's all crazy. Where are the receipts and proof, Elon? That's all you got to do is show us the proof. Okay, stop talking about it and be about it and show us where it's all going down. Now, in the meantime, between time, they're talking about a Tesla takedown. Anti-Musk protesters call for the day of action. Okay, this was out yesterday. They're still holding protests. Musk is losing big. Trump's so upset about it. He's talking about anybody, vandalizing Tesla. He wants to lock them up, and it's domestic terrorism. And let's send them to Guantanamo Bay or wherever he said he wanted to send them, somewhere crazy. Okay, because Trump needs his money. All right, he needs Elon to run him his $250 million that he was promised, allegedly.
Service shop in Atlanta where protests are expected later today. Madison? Hi, Alicia. That's right. There are set to be hundreds of protests nationwide today at different Tesla locations, including this one here in Atlanta. And the goal is to stop Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, these protesters are a part of the so-called Tesla takedown, and the group is calling today a global day of action against the car maker. According to the Tesla takedown website, the group wants people to, quote, sell your Teslas, dump your stock, and join the picket lines. They're protesting Musk's role in DOGE. He spearheaded severing government agencies, but Musk says this is an effort to expose waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. There have been plenty Tesla protests leading up to today. Here are protesters from Monday in California. Listen.
I definitely have wanted to flip off Tesla drivers when I see them, but you know, I want to do a peaceful demonstration, and it's not just about Elon Musk and Tesla. Democracy.
The Tesla takedown group wants these protests to be peaceful and say it opposes any violence or destruction of property. But there are reports of violence from counter-protesters earlier this month, and this all comes after a string of attacks on Tesla dealerships, car owners, and charging stations nationwide. And the FBI launching a task force this week to crack down on the Tesla attacks. On Wednesday, one man accused of using Molotov cocktails to torch several Teslas at a dealership in Vegas this month was arrested. He's currently in federal custody, and the FBI is treating these attacks as domestic terrorism, and some Democrats are calling the task force a political weaponization. Alicia.
Madison Scarpino, thank you so much. So these protests are happening as the FBI launches a task force to crack down on Tesla attacks. So let's bring in former FBI investigator Bill Daley. Bill, so good to see you. Thank you. This task force really trying to crack down. Thank you. Trying to crack down here. How successful do you think this will be?
Well, I think it'd be very successful. I mean, the tone has been set down not just by President Trump, but also through leadership of Kash Patel, the new FBI director, as well as Attorney General Bondi. You know, that this type of behavior, the violent behavior, will not be tolerated. You know, as we know, we the people have given ourselves the right to freedom of speech, but it doesn't give you the freedom to shoot up people or shoot up Tesla dealerships or vehicles or set firebombs off or harass people. To intimidate them. So I think what they're looking at here is to make sure that as these protests go on, and if they're peaceful, that's great. If not.
Now I want you to pay attention. He said, as the protests go on, if they're peaceful, that's great. Look at the damages they're doing, setting fires and all of this. There's nothing peaceful about it. But what's interesting to me is that they're not being met with the same angst. And by they, I mean the people that are setting these fires and out here protesting. They're not being met with the same angst as people who look like me when they protest. Okay? And if there were people who look like me setting fires and doing all of that, wouldn't they be calling them thugs and animals and having such harsh words to say about them? I just happened to notice that.
Then they're going to know who's responsible, not just those people in the streets, but who might be behind it, who might be either promulgating that information online to support people to commit violent acts, or who may even be monetarily supporting those initiatives.
Do you think there is coordination, organized coordination for these, especially these arson attacks and graffiti attacks that we're seeing at Tesla dealerships?
It was a little bit too early to tell, and they haven't come out, and actually the authorities haven't said that yet. However, you know, if you go behind the scenes, you look at, you know, people who might be spewing and promulgating, kind of encouraging people to commit violent acts. Those are the people you want to see if there's what the connection might be. It's unfortunate is that as these protests go on, is that there's going to be a fringe element who may look to decide to take things into their own hands. You know, however, at the other end of the spectrum is that, you know, police have been very vigilant. You mentioned before about this arrest in Nevada, where the fusion cell and the Joint Terrorism Task Force between FBI, other federal agencies, and the local Las Vegas police apprehended this individual who had not only just set these Tesla vehicles on fire, but also shot up the dealership, spray painted the dealership. So it's these type of acts, which I think have occurred around 11 times since this whole kind of initiative started, has resulted in in fire bombings and destroying Tesla charging stations, and even doxing people by releasing the names of employees and as well as vehicle owners.
Yeah, and Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, was on with Brett Baer yesterday on Special Report. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The real problem is not the people. It's not like the crazy guy that firebombs a Tesla dealership. It's the people pushing the propaganda that caused that guy to do it. Those are the real villains here. And we're going to go after them. And the president's made it clear we're going to go after them.
Yeah, I mean, Pam Bondi she's already announced, several federal charges against multiple suspects, some facing up to 20 years in prison. But also, can you just touch upon the average everyday Tesla owner who's out there just trying to get to work and back, go to the grocery store, and they're finding graffiti on their cars?
Now, I want you to pay attention. She said some of them facing 20 years in prison. But isn't that interesting? Because, so you mean to tell me that the government, Trump specifically, is more upset about what's going on with Tesla than he was about the Capitol insurrection? Because he pardoned those people. Okay? Please pay attention. And he also refused to label them as what they are, domestic terrorists.
They're getting yelled at, harassed while driving.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation because these people, as well as the employees of Tesla, the shareholders of Tesla, are doing what they can to support the business, to kind of grow an initiative of not only just self-driving but also vehicles that don't pollute, and they're trying to do all these things. And perhaps at the same time they're incurring these acts of vandalism. So I'd probably say to them is that be encouraged by the fact that this is in the sight of law enforcement, whether it's local, state, and these federal initiatives. They're working together, these law enforcement groups, to be able to look at any individuals who may be planning and plotting any violent acts, and they will be brought to justice. And, Alicia, it's not the first time. We've had initiatives in the past, so people think that, well, they're just going to help support Mr. Musk. Is that, over the years, they've been arrested by a number of people, whether it's the Earth Liberation Front activists who burnt down ski resorts in Vail and other initiatives. So these things are taken very seriously. Again, we have the right, the freedom of speech, but not the right to attack, to assault, to burn down, to shoot up dealerships.
Yeah, and as far as we can see, none of this is actually stopping Elon Musk and the work that he is doing. Bill Daley, really good to see you on this Saturday morning. Thank you.
Good to see you.
At the end of the day, this is exactly what Elon gets, okay? This is what he gets. All right, I don't feel bad for him at all. But, now, they're saying that he's supposed to be stepping down from DOGE because his work is almost done. Okay, that's what they're reporting. So let's talk about it. I'm almost done. Elon Musk to quit DOGE and leave Washington, D.C. Oh, really? After DOGE purge. Tech billionaire Elon Musk has revealed the date he plans to ditch U.S. President Donald Trump and leave Washington, D.C. after his DOGE purge of federal departments. The Tesla CEO sat down with key members of his DOGE team to discuss the work that his team has carried out for the first few months of Trump's administration. Elon plans to step down from his cost-cutting role in the Trump administration at the end of May after reducing the U.S. deficit by $1 trillion. The tech billionaire said on Thursday, according to the Fox News, that he expressed confidence in getting close to that goal, which would have the annual federal deficit in just 130 days, saying that his team was averaging $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week. Okay, again, where's the proof and receipts? In an interview with Fox News, Special Report with Brett Baer, Elon Musk said that he was confident his DOGE could find $1 trillion in savings, slimming current total federal spending levels of about $7 trillion down to $6 trillion. Musk, who is about the world's richest man, was designated by the White House as a special government employee, which caps his work at 130 days. Okay, that means his period leading the DOGE operation could finish as soon as the end of May. Saying, I think we will accomplish most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame. Okay, that's what he said. The government is not efficient and there is a lot of waste and fraud. So we feel confident that a 15% reduction can be done without affecting any of the critical government services, Musk said. Okay, we'll see how that all turns out. So he's leaving. Well, bye. See you, wouldn't want to be you. Okay. Now, let's go to where he was pissed off at Tim Walz, because Tim Walz was joyous. Okay, he was rejoicing in the fact that people were destroying Tesla, apparently, and Elon was none too thrilled about it. Okay, so I'm going to go to this video real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And then we have to talk about Justin Pearson, honey, because he went in. All right, he went in.
So suffering because I'm in the government. You just pointed that out a moment ago.
Right.
Do you think it helps sales if dealerships are being firebombed? Of course not. And Tesla customers are being intimidated all over the country and all over Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Walz, who's a huge jerk, running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy from that? And it was pointed out to him that actually, Minnesota State Pension Fund is a major investor in Tesla. But he didn't care. He was so overjoyed by Tesla stock going in half. Does that sound like a good person to you? I don't think so.
Well, at the end of the day, Elon, you don't sound like a good person either, so nobody really cares, including Tim Walz, okay? Tim Walz was rejoicing. So am I. I'm rejoicing too. This is good for him. This is what he gets, okay? Is anybody supposed to feel sorry for you, Mr. Sir? I don't think so. All right? And I don't believe he's the richest man in the world. I think that's just the title they choose to give him. Okay, that's what I think. I think that's just the title they chose to give him. All right, hold on. I forgot to tell you all about this foolishness. Now, Trump, listen to this. Now, MSNBC said Trump directs J.D. Vance to go after woke zoos. What? You mean to tell me Trump doesn't have anything else to do? He doesn't know about the 4 soldiers that lost their lives. But he's sitting here telling the vice president to go after woke zoos. What are those? What are woke zoos? I have several questions. Hold on, let's get into it. Then we're going to talk about Justin Pearson. I absolutely cannot. Here we go.
There is no denying there are a lot of things going on in America right now, heck, just today, that really don't look very much like America, or at least the best version of ourselves that we like to celebrate. Young foreign students and others being grabbed off the street by masked police in state-sanctioned abductions, performative cruelty and twisted photo ops by top government officials, criminals pardoned of the crimes if they support the current leader. And these bizarre spectacles of subservience in the Oval Office. Donald Trump's bet is that acting like a dictator is half the battle to becoming one. At a press conference to swear in his personal lawyer as the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, which, by the way, would be an enormous scandal in any other time and place, Trump said that he pardoned a convicted fraudster because, quote, he was one of the first people that supported a gentleman named Donald Trump for president.
Y'all heard this foolishness? See, Trump loves anybody. He'll help anybody, give a position to anybody who's kissing his butt. Now, some of you all are saying Zeus, Z-E-U-S. I did not say Zeus. I said zoos, where animals dwell, where you go and look at the animals, Z-O-O-S. Okay? He's telling J.D. Vance supposedly to go after woke zoos, not Zeus. Okay?
Then he celebrated those black bag style snatching and disappearing of immigrants and foreign students while attacking the federal judges who have stood in the way.
We're getting rid of a lot of bad people. They're being taken out. And we hope this court system that's become so active all of a sudden in trying to protect some very, very bad people of crime. They have to stop.
I'm sorry. Is people of crime what we're calling it now?
He said people of crime. First of all, if that's what we're calling them these days, isn't he one? Isn't he a people of crime? Trump, please sit down somewhere. He sounds ridiculous.
I can't keep up. Donald Trump's goal is to replace American democracy with a Donald Trump dictatorship. Right now, he's playing the part, down to the choreography of reporter questions in that Oval Office today. I mean, since 1914, right, the journalists who cover the president and ask him questions have been chosen by an independent White House Correspondents Association. And last month, Trump decided to overrule them for the first time in over a century and just handpick his press corps. And he started purging reputable reporting outlets like the Associated Press. He banned the AP's reporters in retaliation when they refused his demand that it rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. And as a result, slowly but surely, it is less journalism in there and more of whatever this is.
What has made you and your team so effective in finding, locating, apprehending, and deporting these violent, illegal migrants?
I love this guy. I wish more people would ask questions like that.
Everyone's laughing and having a good time. That reporter was from the far-right cable channel One America News. Then this was the next question.
Mr. President, I wanted to say, first of all, happy Women's Month. You do so much for women by, first of all, keeping men out of women's sports, and you platform so many.
That was an easy one. That was crazy.
You platform so many great women, like your Chief of Staff, Susie Walz. You also have Caroline Levitt doing a great job as press secretary. Now Alina will be joining as well. Since Democrats seem to struggle answering this question, I wanted to ask you, what is a woman, and why is it important that we understand the difference between men and women?
Well, it's sort of easy to answer for me because a woman is somebody that can have a baby under certain circumstances.
Good answer, I guess. That question came from a representative of the far-right Tim Pool podcast. And if you've heard of him, it may be because he was recently identified as a pro-Trump influencer who received hundreds of thousands of dollars from Russian state media to parrot Kremlin talking points. Now in the Oval Office. There you have it. The Associated Press is banned from the White House. Those guys are in the Oval Office with that cringy obsequiousness. You know, Peter Baker, who's a New York Times White House correspondent, wrote last month, having served as a Moscow correspondent in the early days of Putin's reign, this reminds me of how the Kremlin took over its own press pool and made sure that only compliant journalists were given access. I mean, Trump clearly wants what Putin has in Russia. A press corps of grovelers who will pump up the strongman in a kind of one-party safe space where Trump can call people scum and enemies. And again, this is just one small part of just a comprehensive day in, day out assault on fundamentally an open society and a free people. What we cherish most, what makes us who we are. An assault on the institutions and practices that make America America, the kind of place where, for instance, a university can host a lecture on humanitarian action by the former president of Doctors Without Borders and not have to cancel it because it might be too anti-Trump. And yet that did happen in this country this week at NYU. The speaker says her lecture was canceled because the university administration feared her talk would be perceived as anti-government in the United States of America. Or the kind of country where, say, a student can co-author a measured, fact-based op-ed critical of a U.S. ally and not have the mass secret police snatch her off the street into detention, accused of ties to terror groups, and shipped away to another state in violation of a direct court order. A place where law firms can defend whatever client they want to in cases where they sue the government without fear of being crushed by the government. A country where dinner with the president isn't just sold to the highest bidder and the state isn't just used as a valuable tool to reward loyalists and punish perceived enemies. That is all fundamentally un-American. If there is an organizing principle of MAGA governance, is that they do not like anything they cannot control. And that is the opposite of a free society. To them, you will obey or you will be hunted. And every day there's a new example, as they just try to remake everything that is part of a free society, not under their control, down to museums and zoos. Yes, zoos. Do you catch this one? That was in the utterly insane executive order Trump signed yesterday, directing Vice President J.D. Vance to crack down on the Smithsonian Institution by removing improper ideology from its museums, education and research centers, and the zoo. J.D. Vance is now going to patrol the zoo for improper ideology. Congratulations, Commissar. You've got the zoo portfolio. Yeah, it's absurd and it's un-American. And I don't think most people like this. In fact, if you look at the polling and you look at the protests right now and you look at the town halls, Americans are waking up to that. They don't like it. That's why a Democrat took a state Senate seat this week in a Pennsylvania district that had been Republican held since 1979 in Lancaster, the heart of Amish country. And it is why Republicans are right now worried about a special election in the deep red Florida congressional district, once held by Trump National Security Advisor Michael Walz, that he won by 30 points in the last election. And it is why Trump just pulled his nomination of Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be UN ambassador, because he is worried about losing a special election in a district where she won last year by 24 points. So he needs her in Congress. All of this means we still do right now live in a free society. We still do live in a democracy where gravity, political gravity exists. Elections can still blunt Donald Trump's attempts at dictatorship. And the question before us each and every day is whether enough people understand the stakes here to mobilize in time to stop him.
Okay, so you all heard that. So if you were wondering, if any of you were wondering where J.D. Vance has been, why we haven't seen much of him, there you have it. He's patrolling the zoos, looking for woke ideology there. That's his mission. This is all crazy, honey. Donald Trump is just turning this whole country into the laughing stock, okay? Really ignorant stuff going on here. But anyway, I digress. Now let's talk about Justin Pearson. Because I like this young man. I like this young man. He's very smart. He's very revolutionary, in my opinion. And he doesn't take any mess. Now, I do think that what he did when he was standing on business is going to definitely cause him some consequences. Okay? You know how they're already trying to always say that Black people are violent, hostile, angry, aggressive, and all of that. So they're definitely going to use that now. I mean, we've already seen how they've been talking about Jasmine Crockett acting like she woke up with violence because she said that we need to take down Elon Musk, and they twisted it and framed it as though she was inciting violence, calling for violence, saying that she wants to take him out, which is not what she said. So they're going to do Justin Pearson the same way. Okay, so let's look at this heated exchange.
This committee's been here. All this, I know every.
And first of all, let me just say, this man who is talking, okay, on the subcommittee is very disrespectful, talking in a very condescending tone. And had I been Justin Pearson, I would have gone in on him too. Now, I may not have walked up on him, but I can see why Justin was so angered and triggered.
Every member in this committee's been here this year working. During committee, during session, voting on bills.
Yes, sir.
And I know you may have some things going on, but you have not. So I don't think it's fair for you to come in front of this committee and lecture us on hard work and convictions and hard work for our committee. So when I understand.
What he didn't like was the fact that a Black man was checking him. That's what he didn't like. That's the same reason a lot of them don't like Jasmine Crockett, because she puts them in check. Okay, and some people feel like Black people can't tell them anything, but they can tell us what to do, when to do, and how to do it. But don't try to tell them anything, okay? Because now you're getting too uppity and you're getting out of line, okay? And you need to stay in your lane. That's how some of them feel, and clearly he's one of them that feel that way. Please pay attention.
Understand where you're at and what you're doing and why, but at the end of the day, we've been here working. We've been on the House floor voting on bills. We've taken the tough questions. We've taken the tough votes.
Yeah.
And we're doing so. So I don't think it's fair for you to come here and lecture this committee on hard work when we've been up here doing the hard work.
Thank you, Chair Farmer, for your comments. They incense me.
Let me say this too before he gets started. I'm not going to interrupt as he's going in, but let me just say this. Also, the way this young man carries himself, the fact that he has a full-on afro, the fact that he is so pro-Black and it just oozes from him, they don't like that. And this man who was just speaking definitely doesn't like it. And if any Black person trying to talk to him and lecture him and scold him or point out things that he's not doing and what he should be doing, he definitely doesn't want a Black man like this specifically to be saying that. Okay? Anytime people who don't care for people who look like me see one of us with an afro, that is the most militant thing to them. They don't like when Black people wear our hair in its own natural state, but they specifically don't like afros. And why don't they like those? Because that represents a time in history when Black people were revolutionaries, standing up, speaking out, and they weren't taking the BS. It reminds them of the Black Panther Party also. Now, I want you all to think about that. Okay, they don't like certain things about our culture, and certain things that we do trigger a certain response from them. And then to have this Black man talking to him, like he said, I don't think you should come here and lecture us about hard work. What he really wanted to say is, you're Black. How dare you come in here with your lazy people and you're trying to talk to me about hard work? That's what he was really wanting to say, I guarantee you. But let's continue.
They make me very, very angry. Very angry. Not just because of the lack of regard, but the disrespect and the same denigrating tone that you used on the State House floor when the vote to expel me happened. It's disrespectful. It's unbecoming, and it's beneath the standard of a person who's supposed to represent in the Tennessee House of Representatives. It is a pathetic excuse for you to not answer the question of why we are doing nothing about the gun violence epidemic than to personally attack me. But let me explain to you what I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother, Temperance Darnell Pearson, one of the loves of my life, passed away from gun suicide on December 1st of 2024. And since that happened, it shattered my family like gun violence has shattered so many families. Shattered my nephew's lives, my mother, my father, my other brothers who are remaining. I buried my brother. I planned for his entire funeral. My fiance made his obituary. I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing. But also, not just that, I went to all of my nephew's schools. I met with their principals and their teachers to ensure that they are okay. I gave them and made sure that they had grief counseling and that they're seeing a psychiatrist. That's what I've been doing. And while you're talking about hard work, you need to realize that our job is not just in this state house with these marble floors. Our jobs are on the streets and in the communities that we serve. And so while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting transgender children, while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting the poor, hurting the marginalized, hurting the disenfranchised, while you've been here passing bills that have not ended poverty, while you've been here passing bills that have not helped people who need Medicaid expansion, while you've been here doing the hard work of making sure that our state is not the state that it can be, because you have decided.
Representative Pearson.
Reality of our situation is only to be.
Representative Pearson.
While you've been here doing that, I've been in my community.
Representative Pearson.
Meeting with young people, going to school, registering
Representative Pearson.
voters. That's what I've been doing. Hard work doesn't just happen. With this legislation, it happens.
Representative Pearson.
And if you will, Chairman, just one more minute, because Chairman Gormer seems to think that he somehow
Representative Pearson.
seems to understand my life better than I do. You need to understand that hard work isn't just sitting there and shutting up and passing a bill. It's doing the hard work of justice and love and mercy.
Okay.
And it's taking your
All right.
and your pain and your heartache, and it's standing in front of people who you know may not like you, standing in front of people who you know will disrespect you, people who you know will talk down to you, and saying in the honor of people like my brother, in the honor of people who died from gun violence, in the honor of people who died from suicide, we need to pass better laws.
Representative Pearson.
And fight for a state where everybody is able to live more freely from the pain of gun violence that me and my family are experiencing. That's what you need to think about, Chairman Walz. Come on. And if you can't think that, learn to shut up.
All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Learn to shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Representative Pearson. No, sir. No, sir. No.
Don't touch him. Do not touch him.
Don't you ever come back to me and my family.
Don't you ever get my farmer. Take care of him, Justin. Come on. Come on, Justin. Come on, Justin. You're okay. Thank you, Justin.
Hey. Well, honey, he went in on him. He said, don't you ever come for me and my family again. He told him, right, I just wish you hadn't gotten up in his face, because they're definitely going to use that to make trouble for him. Please pay attention. That's what they're definitely going to do. Okay, so here's the next clip where they talk about it on a news report. They say fallout continues after heated confrontation between Tennessee representatives. There's definitely going to be some fallout due to that. I mean, he went in on him. Did you see that man? That man would not even turn around and look at him, honey. He was clearly intimidated. But, you know, he was talking to him in a very disrespectful and condescending way. And also, it's obvious that he doesn't like Justin, because as Justin said, when he got into that incident before, him and the other Justin, I can't remember his last name at the moment, but you all know the Filipino man. He said that then he was talking the same way, okay, when they took him off the floor. So this man clearly has an issue with him as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Lights up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Also, don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you haven't been receiving notifications. After this video, I'm going to upload some new information on Diddy.
Continues today from a heated confrontation between two lawmakers at the state capitol yesterday. It happened between Representatives Andrew Farmer and Justin Pearson. You see here during a debate on gun reform bills that Pearson was trying to pass through a House Criminal Justice Subcommittee. As WSNV4 investigative reporter Stacey Cameron tells us, there's now some questions whether Representative Pearson, who was expelled after the Tennessee 3 controversy on the House floor 2 years ago, could be in trouble again.
The emotional confrontation began here when Representative Justin Pearson was speaking to the subcommittee in this hearing room behind me. Pearson's bill aimed to amend the state's permitless carry law. It was one of the few times the Memphis Democrat has been back on the Hill since his brother died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound in December. At one point, when Pearson felt Farmer was questioning Pearson's absence and attacking his family, Pearson confronted the Republican, walking up to Farmer and pointing at him and yelling before Pearson was separated. Today, both House Speaker Cameron Sexton and Leader William Lamberth said they didn't believe Farmer said anything that was attacking Pearson, but they also said that Pearson deserved some grace while grieving his brother's death. But Republican Caucus Chair Jeremy Faison took another direction in questioning Pearson's behavior.
My question to him would be, are you hoping to get kicked out? You're traveling all around America, and you finally come here the first time you've been here other than being sworn in, and you want to act a fool and charge the dais and get in somebody's face like you're going to hurt them. That it's almost like he wants to victimize himself and inflict a wound on himself behaving in such a way.
I wish calmer heads would have prevailed. But imagine somebody being in that situation. It takes time.
Now, Pearson's gun reform bill did fail in the subcommittee by a 7-2 vote. And earlier today, Speaker Sexton wouldn't rule out the possibility that Pearson could face some type of discipline for his conduct. The speaker saying he wanted to look at the video more closely and study the situation. But Speaker Sexton seemed reluctant to say Pearson's behavior rose to the level of his needing to be expelled from the House. Reporting at the state capitol, I'm WSNV4 investigative reporter Stacey.
Okay, it did get into a heated exchange, but at the end of the day, he doesn't need to be expelled from the House, in my opinion, because he didn't put hands on him. He just got up in his face and was going in. Okay, some of them have done the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Some of them have gotten into some heated altercations as well. Okay, but they always try to put another spin on it when it's somebody who looks like me. Just look at Jasmine Crockett. They said she assaulted that journalist the other day, that reporter. She just pushed his phone out of her face, which he was in her personal space anyway. Okay, give me 3 feet at least. Okay, but this is what they do. They always try to make the black person look like they're so aggressive and angry, whatever. Yeah, he was angry and he had every reason to be. That's right. Lillian says no reason for expulsion. Okay, exactly. I agree. Anyway, you know, shout out to Justin Pearson. All right. I love him and his fiance. Now, with that all being said, I think that's his fiance. I think they're engaged now. With that all being said, listen, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this broadcast. Everyone, please like and share. Okay, everyone, please like and share. And, you know, there was a clip that I saw where they went in on this woman, on this white woman, because they said that she was talking about reparations or whatever. They said she was talking about reparations, so they went in on her. And also, in other news, I forgot to mention to you all that Rosie O'Donnell doesn't want to live in the United States anymore because Trump's president. Now, I don't know if it's actually because Trump's president or if it had anything to do with Diddy and the nefarious allegations, but nonetheless, Rosie said she's out of here. Okay, she said she's out of here. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. And like I said, I'm about to upload some new information on Diddy, okay, in the next 20 or 30 minutes. And I might be back later, okay? We're supposed to be on the spiritual channel later today. So look forward to that. In the meantime, between time, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got